Your biggest helper in the land of CSS and web development is margin and padding. You'll be using margin and padding like mad. It's how you place your boxes within boxes. It is very important, and here's how it works. Margin happens outside of a box, and padding happens inside of a box. And let me bring up my Flash environment so I can kind of show you how this works. Do some resizing here. There we go. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. So we have these three boxes here. Maybe they're columns, maybe they're whatever images. Doesn't really matter, but let's kind of drag them over here. By default, maybe they're in the wrapper box. And maybe we just have one image, and perhaps maybe we just want this one image not to be by default in the upper left-hand corner, but perhaps we want it down a little bit, or maybe we want it over here, or maybe we want it over here. Well, to make this happen, what we do is we either apply padding or margin. Now, if we apply, what we could do is we could apply margin to the yellow box, because margin happens outside of the box. So here we can apply margin to top, left, right, or bottom. And so if we wanted to go down, we would say margin top, and actually the CSS language is margin dash top colon whatever value. So we could say margin top like that, and then we could say margin left like that, and we're good to go. Or if we have three of these guys, if they're all in the same class, yellow box, yellow box, yellow box, well, they all have the the same CSS definition, then we might just say margin right 10 pixels, margin right 10 pixels, and we don't need anything over there, but it's there because if they're in the same class, that's how the code would be applied. Margin, margin, margin. Now, we could do the same thing using padding, but padding happens inside of a box. So in this box back here, let's go up here. Let's do some reorganizing here. Okay, so here we have our aqua box, but let's say we want to make it so that in the aqua box we want our yellow box to fit within this box that I just put in there. Well, padding is like a pool table, and padding keeps objects in the box just like a pool table pad keeps the ball on the table. So if we apply padding top, then that's going to push this thing down, and padding left is going to push it over. We can pad it all the way around, or just on the top, just on the bottom, just on the left, just on the right. It depends on what you're trying to do. Now, the important thing about adding padding, I'm going to say this, it's very important. Whatever you giveth, you must taketh away. So if this aqua box is 800 pixels wide, and then if we apply padding left of 100 and apply padding right of 100, that actually adds width and height to your box, the aqua box, which is going to all of a sudden be 1,000 pixels. So you have to subtract. Whenever you add padding, you have to subtract from your math. Doesn't make sense now, but let's go into Dreamweaver land and see if we can get it to work. Here what we're going to do is we're going to apply, we're going to make our content thinner, and we're going to apply margin to the left and margin to the right, and that's going to give us a little space in between these columns right over here. So here we go. Here we go. Let's stay in design mode perhaps. And this would be a good job. Many times I'll just write the code, but this is a really good time to watch our be in CSS designer mode and let it help us out. So I'm going to go to my CSS information right here, and let's go to our content right here. And it gives us all this information about content, and notice margin and padding are right on the top. So all I have to do is come over here. I'm going to take margin. I can click right there, and I'm going to make it 20 pixels. Bad things are going to happen. I tell you, as soon as I hit return on the keyboard, you're going to see things freak out. I hit return, bam. Look at everything freak out. Stuff starts bumping around because we don't have room anymore. I'm also going to add 20 pixels over here. Go to pixels, and then we'll put 20 pixels over there. Bam. But now I have to adjust my math. Notice my math, it's 600 wide. So I added 20, So we're going to take the width down to 560 of the box size. There you go. There you go. That's just what we wanted. We have margin working outside of our blue content box. And notice how easy that was, and how I can see it happen visually by using these little boxes right over here. That's really cool to be able to actually see it happen. And when I make those changes in my CSS designer panel, I'm going to save the file and go into my CSS code, and notice here's the code. Content. I adjusted my width and reduced it down to 560 pixels, and the designer panel, with the changes that I made, it added margin dash left and margin dash right. You'll be using margin and padding forever and ever and ever.